Good afternoon, I'm Joe Valvarca with this weather update. Decided to do a video update rather than typing out an update since there's some interesting weather coming tonight. And it's rather on the convective side and it'll be a bit interesting. Here's what's left of our mesoscale convective system that formed yesterday over the Central Plains and Northern Plains region out here. Now it's moved here to the Ohio Valley. We're going to see more storms ignite this afternoon. Generally from Cincinnati on west-southwest, you see where this little area is going southwest down here. It's starting to go into Arkansas and whatnot. Yeah, there's going to be more that forms along this boundary because the air mass there is very unstable out there, and the shear this afternoon is really high. In some cases, it's as high as 100 knots out there. But what we have to watch is this energy, which is generally positioned back here in Illinois right now. There's an area of low pressure with this that's going to move east, and it is going to strengthen some, the low pressure. There's also some thunderstorms moving into West Virginia right now that are starting to get a little bit more organized here. Nothing impressive yet. There's also a warm front that I believe is down here in Virginia right now. As you can see here, you got some storms that are moving southeast along it. That is going to push northeast some ahead of this low pressure, and that should get up to about the Baltimore area overnight. Then towards morning, it's going to try and get somewhere between Philadelphia and Trenton areas. Somewhere around there is where the warm front's going to stall, and it's going to become an occluded front with the area of low pressure, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. First of all, let's take a look at yesterday. 13 tornadoes yesterday, 223 reports of wind, 257 reports of hail. And these numbers you see on the right hand side, those are reports of high winds and large hail. Overall, there were 493 unfiltered reports yesterday. If I filter it out, it filters out to 373 reports after National Weather Service investigators have gone out and surveyed the area. You can see here, there weren't really many in the way of injuries and fatalities yesterday. Matter of fact, no fatalities that I've heard of, which is good news. Means the job is being done correctly. Us weather enthusiastic people, meteorologists, storm spotters, that means they're doing their job correctly. Now let's take a look at the setup for today's severe weather out west, and there you see it. Look here in Kansas, 100 knot vertical shear. Everywhere else is widespread 40 knots to 50 knots and even 60 knots plus shear. And this will probably get a little stronger yet out there. Remember, there's Central Standard Time. It's only 1:46 in the afternoon out there. So, there's still time for this to get stronger before the capping breaks. But the good news for us is the main severe weather threat with this system, that will be going south. But we're not out of the woods for severe weather yet, and I'll explain why here. Let's go over to thermodynamics. As you can see here, here's the instability. The surface-based instability is not really present in our area. I'm going to zoom into the northeast region. Yeah, there. We don't really have much in the surface-based instability. That's not something we have to worry ourselves about. We do have to worry ourselves about is elevated instability tonight. Like right here, here's your MU cape. This would be elevated or higher up in the atmosphere. This is a layer of instability that's higher up, unlike surface-based instability, which is at the surface. And we also have to look at mid-level lapse rates tonight. They're not in play now. It's way too soon. The atmosphere right now, it's not fairly moist over the area. It's going to become more moist overnight. The setup is just starting to slowly set into place, and it's going to slowly get better and better as we go into the overnight hours, and then after midnight is when things will really get juicy, the area. And as you can see, there's a moisture axis right now, right over Cincinnati, Ohio. That area is going to move eastward, and that should spread into the area tonight. So let's look at some of the computer model guidance. Here's the European model. Basically, what you're looking at here, this is what has fallen between 0Z tonight and 6Z. So basically, what is that? That's between 9 o'clock tonight and 2 o'clock in the morning. That's what has fallen. This is indicating there could be some light rain already, and I do think we're going to see some steady light rain ahead of the main activity, and it's probably going to get pretty far north, because what's going to happen is, you see we have a 1004 millibar low just west of DC. This will move east, then it's going to turn northeastward up to New York area. It's going to make a turn, and it's actually going to be like a coastal storm like you would see in the wintertime, but it's not going to really have the sustained winds around it like it would. It's mainly going to just be a low, and it's going to be a convective type low. And as you see here, if I go to the next frame, look what happens. Wham! Heavy convective rains just blossom right over the entire area, even up into New York, and there we get a 1000 millibar low, which is fairly strong for this time of year. And this would present heavy flooding type rains right around the morning rush hour, 12Z. Well, that's right around 9 a.m. So which indicates between 2 a.m. and 9 a.m. we're going to have some heavy rain falling across the area, and it could impact the rush hour tomorrow morning. There's going to be some ponding on the roadways, and there could even be a few thunderstorms. If I go to the next frame, which is 18Z tomorrow afternoon, it's moving out by about noontime tomorrow. New York City could still be seeing some rain, though, and Boston's just getting waffled with heavy rains. And there could even be a few isolated thunderstorms, which I'll demonstrate now. Here's the 12Z SPC WRF model. If we go out to about now, which is right here, right now, so if you look in West Virginia, it's pretty much spot on to what I was showing here on radar. We'll go back to radar, compare radar. There's radar right now entering West Virginia. Here's what the SPC WRF shows for right now. Can't get much closer than that. Let's advance it some more. There's the thunderstorms that's set up out to the west by Cincinnati, even south of Pittsburgh area, all the way out heading towards Arkansas, and it just goes southward along the boundary. The boundary pushes more south, and more storms just explode over Kansas. We even get another MCS. Probably won't reach the ratio status like yesterday. The setup's not as extreme. There's a slight risk area for West Virginia. There's a slight risk area for out there. It's possible one of these areas get upgraded to a moderate risk in the next update in about an hour or so. We'll just have to wait and see with that. I continue this. Now look at this. You can see here the low at this time frame. This is tomorrow morning. The low at this time frame is right over the Washington D.C. area. It starts to make that northeast turn because what happens is there's a trough that's over the Great Lakes. This trough comes down. The energy gets sucked in by the trough, and that energy then gets pulled northeastward. So it makes a northeast turn, as you'll see in the next few frames. It makes a northeast turn, and the precipitation actually gets stronger because it's doing two things. One, it's picking up some Atlantic moisture, and two, the helicity values are very high across the area. Anytime you get high helicity values combined with a strong precipitable water value, you're going to get some heavy convective rains over the area. So there could be a couple areas of confined heavy convective rain. One is right here over New York City and Long Island. Another one is down here towards Philadelphia, which could promote isolated severe risk. We're not talking widespread severe risk, but there could be one or two severe thunderstorm warnings for gusty winds right underneath the low where it's located, because that's where the best instability is going to be, and that's also where the best mid-level lapse rates are going to be. To go with those gusty winds with severe thunderstorm threat down there, there's also going to be some loud thunder and frequent cloud-to-ground lightning due to a steep mid-level lapse rate, because there's going to be a cold level in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. Anytime you get a cold layer at this time in the morning or even in the afternoon, but especially when you get mid-level lapse rates that are steep in the morning hours, we tend to get some loud thunder around this area. We've seen it happen once over the winter time. We saw it happen once back in late April. That event started out early on. We had some loud thunder with that, and it's going to happen this go around with this event. Now if I continue this, as you can see, we also try to get some banding with the low behind it. That's not going to last very long. That's going to exit the area rather quickly. So what to expect? On general, the area wide, I'm expecting 1 to 2 inches of rain area wide. Some places could see 2+ inches of rain where any training feature sets up or any heavier band sets up right underneath the low. And with that, I expect there to be a possibility of 2+ amounts. It could be 3 or 4 inches of rain in a very isolated area just near the low or just north of the low, which at this point I'm thinking will probably anywhere be between Philadelphia and New York City. So Yeah, that's going to probably be during rush hour. It could cause ponding on the roadways. As is, rush hour is going to be a slow go tomorrow. Leave extra early if you can. And if things change, I'll do another update. And behind us, we're looking at some nicer weather for the end of the week. And guess what? We're going to have 3 nice weekends in a row. This weekend's going to be in the upper 70s to low 80s. Lots of sunshine, no rain. The next threat of rain is going to be next Monday. We'll worry about that next week because there's still some questions to that yet. Okay? Thanks for watching. I'm Joe Vodvarka.